Terran versus Zerg. C against Life. Here at the Ready Action Cross match.
Let's see what Life's gonna do. I'm excited. I want to see more from this guy. I actually want to qualify.
When's he gonna make a lair?
He's gonna make the Nidus network.
Alright, down here at the bottom right from Kespa's 8th team, he is C. This guy quite popular.
I'm currently trying to figure out which group this actually is.
And at the top, recently moving to Startail, Life.
So first Terran versus Zerg for the day. And it seems to be... I can't find the group. Okay, I'll have to browse through this later. I think I'll already pass them, but yeah, we have Life playing now and he's up against the Casper player. Important to note is that yesterday not a single Casper player was actually able to qualify. In the end, they all lost to the GSL players. I think Zero was the one who advanced into the finals, but then he was taken out by his opponent, by Hack.
We had a few Flying made it to the finals, lost to Happy as well. I think there might have been one more player in the finals. I know those two.
Okay, I have them C and Live. They participate in Group J. And in the same part of the brackets are, for example, player like Tyr, like Lucky, and in the total bracket we have also Yu-Gi-Oh!, we have Sun, and yeah.
To give you guys some information about Team 8, Team 8 was introduced as the 8th team for Pro League, as there were only 7 teams at the time because MBC Game and Hwasong Oz disbanded. So Kespa created a team called Team 8 and took some players that were currently teamless and some players from the teams that disbanded. And currently, in round 2 of 2011-2012, the SK Planet Pro League, Team 8 is currently at a +8 score, 6-1 right now in their second round. So they're actually the highest ranked team right now, despite not really producing that many results when they first were introduced. So this team in StarCraft 1, when it was introduced, did not look very good. Despite having a lot of star players, the team mesh just wasn't there. But in StarCraft 2, well, in their hybrid league right now, they're doing quite well in the second round. So I want to give some information about that. This team is a team that you will see probably a lot of, especially in the OSL. They have a lot of backing by Kespa. Obviously, Kespa is their sponsor. They're Kespa's 8th team. So we'll see how much C has been able to prepare for this match. A lot of good practice partners like Jaedong. Now, Jaedong, of course, did get a seed, and obviously doesn't have the experience that Life has. Life's been playing StarCraft 2 a lot longer, but we'll see how C does here today. I think a lot of fans looking forward to watching this.
C is currently scouting his opponent with an SCV. We have the standard opening for Life, where C is now going into the expansion. Has it already done. 1 barracks into expand, taking the double gas here, the second gas as the factory is already building. And probably just starting... actually looks like he's going to start things off with maybe a transition into the Starpod and then also Banshees. The SCV is still hiding. Yeah. Tries to get a good look in here. But Life is very experienced. This is a map that obviously features the Terran player a little bit. The scouting SCV immediately spotted by the Overlord. This pathing here by Life.
And probably Life, he's getting extra gas right now. Most people would attribute this to, oh, maybe he's going to put some Baneling Roach Aggression on, but I think he's just going to, well... His Life, there's the lair. That's exactly what I was going to say. I mean, we both knew he was just going to get a fast
it's Life. You get the lair as fast as possible, and I think there's probably a contest with the former Xenix players, like, who gets this lair the fastest?
Yeah. You know, I feel like Life, sometimes he's basically got 2 ways of going lair. He either gets lair without Zergling speed, or he gets lair with Zergling speed. That's like, he's like, well, should I cut a corner here and get the lair even faster, or should I get that speed just to be safe? And in this case, he's going to get the speed.
Yeah, he has speed this time, and therefore his lair is actually a little bit late. I mean, at the 5-minute mark for Life, that's already late.
Yeah, after 4:30, man, I'm getting a little bit concerned. I'm like, maybe he's not going to make a lair this game.
Is it really Life? It's an imposter.
It can't be him, man. By the way, it looks like C is going to be playing what I like to call the Polt build, where you get Banshees out after some reactor Hellions, but in this case, he's going to be making Marines first, and we'll see if he gets Cloak or not. He needs to get a 3rd base with this build, or at least normally.
That's the Spire. Very fast mutalisk. Sorry for interrupting you here,
fine.
but with the double gas that he just got, Definitely a Spire build. For a second, I was really thinking about if we would dare to use against Terran's Nidus opening, but a very, very fast Nidus, very fast Spire play. And the thing is that this could catch C completely off guard. Originally, the Muta timing was roughly around the 11th minute mark, but if he doesn't scout this and relies on this information that Mutalisk might be a threat at 11 minutes, then he could be completely caught off surprise here.
Yeah, this is actually just going to be such a fast timing. He did, as I mentioned before, put the reactor on the barracks. This Hellion...
He tries to take a third, isn't he?
Nice escape there.
He just scouts.
He's getting...
Additional supply depots.
Does he actually get in here?
No, even if he got in here, he just tries to go for the main base, but the Spire's actually hidden to the top left.
Yeah, and the Spire is going to be a tough tech to deal with. He got the reactor on his barracks, so he's going to have some Marines out for this, but they're not going to have Stim. And the Banshee is going to be really easily shut down by this. He's going to be like, wow, he may even cancel Cloak when he sees that Overseer.
And with the Overseer, he knows that the lair tech is already done, and if he thinks about what he just scouted, he must realize that there is some kind of reason why this fast lair tech hit. So I would not surprise to see an engineering bait, and there it is, building it immediately. And also a Viking that will not help him that much against the Mutalisk. But on the other hand, I think he kind of realized what's happening here.
I think so too. And the one Viking against a small Mutalisk count will actually add a little bit of zoning for him. But yeah, in the end, he's not going to want to fight the Mutas with the Vikings straight up. If he wants to send that out to kill Overlords, that's a bit silly against this. But he doesn't know 100% there are Mutas. This Banshee Cloak was cancelled.
He actually gets double engineering bay. I think this might be just for his upgrades.
Yeah.
I don't think he will react with a missile turret.
No, not yet. And now he's going to, as soon as he sees these Mutas, his Banshee will not escape. But this gave him a lot of scouting information. Now he knows for sure Mutas are on the way and immediately starts 2 turrets. So he got the 3rd command center coming up here as well as Stim. And like you mentioned, double upgrades.
Yeah, this is also one of the things that I'm always a little bit unsure about how to deal with. Even if I play myself, it's the question, do you show your Mutalisk and do you tell your opponent, in order, for example, you defend against Banshees, do you take down the Banshee or do you try to hit your opponent's base and attack immediately? The problem that you have with this is, what a timing! Look at this, brilliant. The problem that you have is you are not sure if your opponent doesn't have a missile turret or 2 in his main base already, so if you ignore the Banshee, it might do some damage, and you will not be able to do anything with your Mutalisk if there is already defense set up in the main base, so it's taking a little bit of a gamble. But if you hide the Mutalisk and hit while your opponent doesn't have a single turret, you can kill so many SCVs. You can basically just force your opponent, completely cripple him with this economy, but it's taking a little bit of a gamble, and Life was not willing to take it. He took down the Banshee in order to get rid of this threat, and then he advanced towards the main base of C.
Yeah. And he's stacking his Mutalisk quite well here, trying to make sure that he can avoid as much DPS from those Marines as possible. This is something that it's going to be a little bit annoying for C to deal with. He's got that Viking out. You know, as I mentioned, it helps with zoning a little bit. But as you said, you can't really fight the Mutas with the Viking. You can only kind of poke at them as they try to enter the base. Really nice defense, though, from C, even though they got there before the turret. I like your point, though. You know, the debate about whether or not you should show your Mutas is quite an interesting one, because he could have defended with just Queens and sent his Mutas fast, so the turrets would not have been up in time. That's a really interesting point.
But you don't kill the... usually with the Queens only, you don't really kill the Banshee, so the Banshee will still be around. At the same time, if the missile turrets are up, you don't do damage with the Mutalisk. If you know that there are no turrets and you suddenly appear in the mineral line, just fly over there, go for hold position, you will at least kill 8 to 10 SCVs. But that's something that he did not try to gamble for. But the position that Life is in is a good one.
Yeah, he killed the reactor on the starport, and the reactor itself takes as long as a starport to build, so that's going to take forever to replenish. He's rebuilding it right now, in fact. I can see on the production tab. That's so unfortunate. It means no medevacs for such a long time, and this is not enough Marines to defend against these first few Mutas.
Yeah, and that's the problem. He is actually going for the 2nd attack upgrade, and with the 3rd base that he's now taking, he is spread too thin. This is a little bit of a problem. Great Stim, you're taking down 3 Mutalisks. Life for a second, not really paying too much attention, but the more important point is that Life is currently having the map control. He's dominating this. He's taking a 3rd and a 4th. He can take it. The drop sneaks past, but he will be able to shut it down later on. And it's just all this damage that Life does. He forces the mules back. He takes down 2 of them. He can chase down medivacs. He's just everywhere right now. And this map dominance that he has, this helps him to set up another base. And he completely controls how this game is shaping out now.
Yeah, I agree, and also, you know, with this type of pressure, this is something that C is probably not accustomed to. Probably this is like lifestyle. Very few people go for fast layer tech like this, and this is going to be hard for him to have practiced against because most people don't play like this.
And just the style itself is a little bit more old school. This is something that he did months ago. Now mutalisks are not this that use this often anymore because most Terrans will react with Thors immediately. Those mutalisks in the main base doing a lot of damage, sniping the Viking now. They're in a great spot. The Baneling Nest dies, but this is something that he can live with for now. He's doing so much damage to his opponent and forcing him into awkward positions. Really well done. The fourth base, this is the point though where he needs the mutalisks and he's already flying over him.
And the base itself is going to be fine. Well, he should be able to save this. Yeah, he's going to get this. Kills an extractor, maybe loses a muta, but Life is in a great position here. Shut down the drop, losing the Baneling, that costs basically nothing to rebuild. That's like the cost of 2 Banelings in gas to rebuild the Baneling nest, so it's not even a big deal. It's not like he's facing a timing here where he needs those Banelings. So he's actually feeling great. His creep spread, I don't want to say it leaves something to be desired. It's not as far forward as it could be, but it's good enough. And C is going to face some trouble here with these mutas. There's so many of them, and the way he's controlling them with no Thors, I mean, they could just pick off unit after unit. Here he goes, running in.
He needs to take down those medivacs, and of course the siege tanks immediately, and this is exactly what he snipes here. Wow, takes down every single medivac. Most of them had actually a few Marines in there, and this is devastating for C. He is going to get crushed. He has already below 100 supply, and he is completely overwhelmed by Life.
GG, Life takes game 1 here. I have to say, I feel that from the Brood War players I've watched in this matchup, they really seem to struggle splitting their Marines, which is not something that you would expect from someone who's had to split against Lurkers in the past, but this is something I've observed time and time again.
Life is laughing. He's like, too easy, son.
Yeah, it was a pretty easy win for him. You know, he had a ton of units in those medevacs that weren't able to fire. The units just killed them.
The problem that C had, I agree with your point, by the way. We saw this yesterday with the splits, but that was not his problem. His problem was that he just had no idea how to deal with this. And it was already a bit too late. He spread himself out very, very thin with the third base. He should have kept the orbital in his main base for a little bit longer, relied on the mules, and then set up a nice defense immediately with turrets at the third base. And he was just completely not aware how to deal with this. He probably on ladder, I guess he faced a lot more infester play than he did mutalisk play. This was a very early mutalisk timing, so I was a little bit surprised by it too. And then, well, Life played it perfect. He took his third, he took his fourth. He just made sure that he had economy while he was occupying his opponent with the mutalisk, bought himself a lot of time, and at no point in time was he actually able to just force an engagement that was going his way. What you can, for example, do if you face a strategy like this and you already have a lot of